I'm Sarah at Craft Habit here in Raleigh, and today I want to show you what we're calling First Embroidery Kit. This is a kit that's designed for children as young as 3 years old, but we think older kids, teens, and adults will like it too. I stitched up this sample a few days ago, and it was really satisfying. So hey, this is a first embroidery kit for everybody. Doesn't have to be your first time either. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you what we've got inside this kit. So in our kit, you will find an instruction sheet. It's on the back of the insert, and it's got a little bit of written instructions and links to this video. You will also find a piece of burlap fabric that we have finished the edges so it won't fray too much on you. You're going to get an embroidery hoop. Also, a selection of pre-cut strands of yarn. This is about 20 strands of yarn, different colors, different textures, and I'll show you a trick. They're held together in the middle by a hair elastic, an unused hair elastic, and to keep your threads from getting an entangly mess, when you want to take one out, hold the elastic part, grab the one thread you're interested in, and just pull that one out. Everything else is going to stay together in a nice pretty ponytail, and you've got one strand to work with. We have also started your kit off with a pre-threaded needle. So you'll have a little baggie. It's going to have a plastic yarn needle in it, threaded with a piece of yarn, and it's got 4 beads in here. And one of those beads, there we go, 4 wooden beads. One of those beads is tied to the end of your yarn. So you've got a bead on one end, and we've gone ahead and tied on the thread to the other. This is just so if you've got a young child who wants to just get in there and start, they can just start. They can stitch with this and not worry about the thread pulling through the fabric. That's a skill you can build on as you go, but we like to sort of start fresh out the gate. So you will need to put your fabric inside your embroidery hoop. If you have not done this, it's pretty simple. Your hoop has got a little screw on the top. Loosen it enough that you can push out that middle circle. The middle circle is solid. The outer circle has this little metal part. So you're going to put that middle circle underneath your fabric. Try and get a little bit centered. And we're going to take this one. You're going to pull it open so you can sort of see that space where the screw is, and push that down over your fabric. And if you need to open that screw up a little bit more to make it fit, you can. You just don't want the screw to come all the way out. So once that's pushed down over the fabric and it's holding it all in place, you can tighten the screw a little bit if you need to. And then you are ready to start stitching. We made this kit with the idea that it would just be freehand exploration, try things out, very abstract and like that. So you can just start stitching if you want to. If you do want to create a design, we recommend doing this. Put down a piece of scrap paper, and then you're actually going to take your hoop and flip it over. This way, your fabric is flat against the table. Otherwise, there's going to be a little bit of a space. So put it flat against the table, and then you or your child, whoever's doing the kit, can draw a design on here inside the hoop. And then what you can do when the design is done is actually take the fabric out, flip it over so that design is on the front side. So we have found that Sharpie markers are the best to stay on the fabric. However, if you do not want to hand a Sharpie to a child, they can certainly draw with chalk. The chalk shows up really well on this fabric. So they can draw with chalk in here, and then you can go over it with the marker to sort of make it more permanent so it will last while they're stitching. So you can do that for anyone who wants to stitch over some lines, but really you can just get in there and start playing around. So if you have your threaded needle, so just a side note, if you don't want this tied on to start with, that's fine. It's not a super tight knot, just untie it. The way I usually stitch when I do grown-up embroidery is I will have my needle with a short tail coming out the eye and the long tail down here with a knot at the end. One thing about the burlap, the holes are so big that you have to tie a pretty big knot to get through. So the other thing you can do is just when you stitch, just don't pull your fabric all the way through. Leave a little bit of a piece of thread dangling back there, and just be careful on your first stitch. But I like the bead because for kids who want to pull all the way through, it's a good way to hold the fabric in. If you want to see the bead, you're going to need to stitch from the front that first time. Then your bead's going to land on top. Your thread is tied in, sir, so it can't go anywhere. And then you just keep stitching. You can make zigzags, shapes, whatever you want, fill things in. When you want to add more beads, You can either start a new thread like this and tie it to the end, or you can string it on to a thread you're already stitching with. This does take a little bit of work. This almost just barely fits over the needle, but it'll happen. If you have a young child working on it, you're going to need to help them. But you're going to string that on, give it a little push to get over the edge. There we go. And then it's on top of the fabric, and you just stitch down through to hold it in place wherever you want it to be. And we definitely encourage experimenting with this. Like I said, you can also stitch a bunch and then take it out again. If you untie or unthread the yarn from the needle, it's really easy to just pull back sort of one stitch at a time. So this is not a project that has to end. If you want to keep playing around, you can do that. You know, maybe stitch something up, take a photograph, take it apart, do some more, whatever you or your child wants to do. And we would love to see what you make. If you work up one of these kits and you want to put a picture on Instagram or Facebook, tag us. We want to see it. We love that. And if you are interested in learning basic embroidery stitches, we do have some videos for that on our website as well at crafthab@raleigh.com. And you can do them with this kit. Our sample videos use a smaller needle and smaller thread, but it's the same concept. You could totally use this kit to learn some of those basic embroidery stitches, and it might be a little bit easier than doing it with a tiny needle the first time. So yeah, this is our first embroidery kit for everyone. We hope you enjoy, and we hope to see what you make. Bye.